Thursday, June 12th, 2025, began as just another day in the bustling city of Ahmedabad, but it quickly turned into a scene of profound sorrow and disbelief. Air India flight AI-171, a modern Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, was scheduled for a long-haul journey to London's Gatwick Airport. With 230 hopeful passengers and 12 dedicated crew members on board, the aircraft prepared for what should have been a routine departure from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport. The air was filled with the usual mix of excitement and anticipation that accompanies international travel, with families saying their goodbyes and business travelers preparing for their trips. No one could have foreseen the disaster that was about to unfold. The takeoff seemed normal at first. At approximately 1:38 p.m. local time, the powerful engines of the Dreamliner roared to life, and the aircraft began its ascent into the skies. However, within moments, something went catastrophically wrong. Instead of climbing steadily towards its cruising altitude, the plane faltered. Eyewitnesses on the ground reported hearing unusual sounds from the engines, followed by a terrifying silence. The massive aircraft, barely airborne, suddenly lost altitude at an alarming rate. It was a heart-stopping sequence of events that lasted no more than 30 seconds, a brief window of time in which a routine flight turned into a national tragedy. The plane's final devastating moments ended in the heart of a populated area. Flight AI-171 crashed directly into a hostel block at the BJ Medical College, located perilously close to the airport. The impact was catastrophic, resulting in a massive explosion and fire that engulfed both the aircraft and the building. The crash site became a scene of absolute chaos and horror. First responders and local citizens rushed to the area, but the intensity of the blaze made immediate rescue efforts incredibly difficult and dangerous. The tragedy was twofold, claiming lives in the air and also on the ground, where students and staff were going about their day. The human cost of this disaster was staggering and difficult to comprehend. On board the aircraft, 241 of the 242 people lost their lives, a near total loss that sent shockwaves across India and the world. The victims were a mix of nationalities, families, tourists, and professionals. On the ground, the tragedy compounded, with initial reports confirming over 28 fatalities at the medical college hostel and dozens more suffering from serious injuries. The city of Ahmedabad was plunged into mourning as the full scale of the loss became clear. It was a day that would forever be etched in the nation's memory as one of its darkest aviation disasters. Amidst the overwhelming devastation and loss, a story of survival emerged that can only be described as a miracle. Out of the 242 souls on board Flight AI-171, one person miraculously lived to tell the tale. His name is Vishwashkumar Ramesh, a 40-year-old British national who was traveling to London. In the aftermath of such a horrific crash, where the aircraft was torn apart and consumed by fire, the fact that anyone survived is almost beyond belief. His survival provides a small, solitary beacon of hope in an otherwise dark and tragic event, a testament to the unpredictable nature of fate and the sheer will to live. Mr. Ramesh's survival is closely linked to his seat location and a series of incredible circumstances. He was seated in 11A, a window seat located in an emergency exit row. This strategic position likely played a crucial role in his escape. When the aircraft impacted the ground and broke apart, a large opening was torn in the fuselage right near his seat. This provided him with an immediate, albeit terrifying, escape route from the burning wreckage. While others were trapped, he found himself with a slim chance to get out, a chance he instinctively seized in the chaotic moments following the crash. Recalling the horrifying moments before the impact, Mr. Ramesh described a sensation that was both strange and frightening. He told investigators that after takeoff, it felt as though the plane had suddenly come to a standstill in midair. This feeling of lost momentum was followed by the violent, uncontrolled descent. He managed to brace himself just before the crash. When he regained his senses, he saw the opening in the plane's body, and despite the shock and the surrounding inferno, he unbuckled his seatbelt and scrambled through the gap to safety, suffering only non-critical injuries in the process. The story of Vishwashkumar Ramesh has captured the attention of the world. He is not just a survivor. He is the sole witness from inside the aircraft who can share what happened in those final, terrifying seconds. Prime Minister Narendra Modi personally visited him in the hospital to offer his condolences for the immense loss and to listen to his account. While he recovers from his physical and emotional wounds, his testimony is considered invaluable to the ongoing investigation. His miraculous escape from the wreckage of Flight Al-171 will forever be a central part of this tragic story, a symbol of life's fragility and resilience. In the immediate aftermath of the crash, the priority shifted from rescue to investigation. Finding out why a state-of-the-art aircraft like the Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner fell from the sky just seconds after takeoff became a matter of urgent national and international importance. A highly specialized team from India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or DGCA, was dispatched to the site to lead the probe. Their first task was to secure the crash scene, document the wreckage, and begin the painstaking process of collecting evidence. The central question on everyone's mind was clear. Was this a result of mechanical failure, human error, or an external event? The search for the aircraft's black boxes was critical. Investigators successfully located and recovered the Flight Data Recorder, or FDR, from the debris. This device is crucial as it contains a vast amount of information about the aircraft's performance, including its altitude, airspeed, engine status, and flight control inputs. However, the search for the second black box, the Cockpit Voice Recorder, or CVR, is still ongoing amidst the challenging conditions of the crash site. The CVR, which records conversations and sounds in the cockpit, is considered the missing piece of the puzzle that could provide direct insight into what the pilots were experiencing and saying in their final moments. This is not just an Indian investigation, it has become a major international effort. Given that the aircraft was American-made, with British-made engines, experts from around the world have joined the probe. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board and representatives from Boeing and engine manufacturer GE Aerospace are working alongside the DGCA. The UK's Air Accidents Investigation Branch is also involved, given the flight's destination and the survivor's nationality. This collaboration ensures that all possible expertise is brought to bear on finding the cause. Several potential causes are currently being examined by the Joint Investigation Team. The initial data from the survivor's account and eyewitness reports has led them to consider multiple scenarios. These include the possibility of media group, survivor being interviewed by investigators, eyewitnesses providing statements to authorities at distribute_equally, a dual engine failure, which would explain the sudden loss of power. They are also looking into whether the flaps were set incorrectly for takeoff, or if the landing gear failed to retract properly, creating excessive drag. Another theory being investigated is a potential bird strike, where one or more large birds may have been ingested into the engines, causing them to fail catastrophically moments after leaving the runway. The response from the Indian government and aviation authorities was swift and decisive. In the wake of the tragedy, the DGCA took immediate action to ensure the safety of the flying public. A directive was issued mandating immediate and thorough safety inspections of all Air India, Boeing 787-8 and 787-9 aircraft currently in service. This precautionary measure aims to identify any potential systemic issues with the fleet that could have contributed to the crash. The focus is on engine components, flight control systems, and structural integrity, ensuring that every similar aircraft is rigorously checked before it's cleared to fly again. The impact of the crash extended far beyond the airport, deeply affecting the local community on the ground. The BJ Medical College, a place of learning and healing, was transformed into a site of immense grief and destruction. The loss of over 24 students and staff in the hostel block added another layer of tragedy to the event. The government has announced compensation for the families of all victims, both on the aircraft and on the ground. Support services and counselors have been made available to the students and faculty of the college as they grapple with the shock and trauma of what they witnessed and endured. As the investigation continues, the nation waits for answers. A preliminary report based on the analysis of the recovered flight data recorder is expected to be released within a week. This initial report will likely provide the first official clues about the aircraft's behavior in its final seconds. However, a full and comprehensive investigative report, which will detail the definitive cause or causes of the crash and make long-term safety recommendations, could take up to a year or more to complete. This meticulous process is essential to ensure that such a tragedy is never repeated and that valuable lessons are learned. The crash of flight Al-171 now stands as India's deadliest aviation incident involving a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, a stark reminder of the inherent risks of air travel, even with modern technology. This event will undoubtedly lead to a significant review of aviation safety protocols, takeoff procedures, and the proximity of flight paths to densely populated urban areas in India. The path forward involves not only mourning the profound loss of life, but also a relentless pursuit of the truth. The findings of this investigation will be crucial in restoring public confidence and shaping the future of aviation safety in India and across the globe.